Donald Trump on China's President for Life power grab. Quote, maybe we should try that. This tonight on this Saturday night of March 3rd, 2018 is the top story right now. Whether you're looking at Google or whether you're looking at Reddit, I'm looking at Twitter and the response from Trump supporters and veterans, and they're not happy with what they're seeing. I just want to refresh your memory about that little trade visit when Trump went to China. And remember that speech he gave? Was it the same kind of Donald Trump that we are accustomed to hearing from? Not the same demeanor. And I made these comments on this channel. It was clear who was wearing the pants, and in these regular meetings between Donald Trump and world leaders, it seems that something's being shown to us in plain sight, and it's quite obvious. Whether we're talking about Donald Trump holding the globe with the Saudis, or whether we're looking at some other type of a ritual. I said the same thing about Barack Obama. And many of you noticed this ritual as well, and these images that we would see of the bowing and the awkwardness. But when we look at the body language, with Trump putting his hand underneath, with Putin, hand on top, you don't have to be a Democrat, you don't have to be Republican to see what's taking place to this nation. And it goes back multiple decades. So let's talk about this. Trump on China's President for Life power grab. Maybe we should try that. President Donald Trump mused in closed-door remarks at his golf club in Florida that the abolition of term limits for China's Z was not only great, but a potential model for American democracy. He's now president for life, Trump told Republican donors, according to CNN. President for life, and he's great. And look, he was able to do that. I think it's great. Maybe we'll give that a shot someday. And that's the shot. That's the shot that's being heard around the world tonight. The main focus isn't Saturday Night Live, ladies and gentlemen, coming up in a few hours. It's this. By the way, there seems to be some sort of an increase slightly to my upload speeds, and I'm working on my own production and getting these videos up as soon as possible. The thing is, this is one of my core topics. China. China, China, China. I know, actually people were joking to me about Alex being the China, China, China guy back in 2012. Remember my friend Veronica would hear me ranting about the rise of China when I lived in Dallas. And we would go out for drinks, and I would tell her that I believe the end game is for China to be positioned at the head of the new world order. And if we look at the older Alex Jones content, not only America Destroyed by Design, but that well done 10-minute clip from Endgame. Notice how the narrative has shifted, and he himself called for Donald Trump to potentially attack China over the issue with North Korea. That clip is online. This is not behavior that he was involved in years ago. It was about preventing a global conflict, not making a bad situation worse. I predicted on AMTV on that interview that was deleted. I'm sure Chris was thinking, well, what was I thinking having this guy on? And while he was predicting Hillary for president, by the way, she's running in 2020, I was predicting Trump. Not as a fan, and not someone saying he's the ultimate devil of this world, but another puppet that will continue what has already begun. Trade war with China, conflict with Russia. Did you hear about the recent announcement out of Russia and their new weaponry? And so all of this is hitting us at light speed. And what I found is videos where I'm discussing particular things, even drills. Think about this. China's drilling off the coast of Oregon. Check out my video on that. Outside of Camp Riley, earthquake disaster response training. So under Trump, just like Obama, we're seeing a tightening of the relationship with China. 2009, the Chinese flag was raised in Washington, D.C. And I said then, as I am now, these are rituals. There are no accidents. There was also someone protesting outside a speech, former President George W. Bush Jr. And she was a Chinese woman upset at the treatment of Falun Gong and the U.S.-China relationships warming. And upon her outburst in Washington, D.C., she was quickly rushed away. And so these are things to think about. So when I make a video on YouTube and it's demonetized with no ability for someone to review it, I'm aware that the censorship going on YouTube is bigger than the keywords that are more popular or some of the topics over at InfoWars. And so there's a reason why they're putting the clamp down now on YouTube, because when it gets real, they don't want us to reach the people with the truth of what's going on. This is why I have the on-demand channel. It's not some get-rich-quick type, This is my reaction to what's taking place. And I'm not going in the other directions to the compromised websites that may not be around in a few years. So being someone in the alternative media that has been discussing China more than others and not getting involved in the left-right paradigm, but looking at what's really going on, I could see risk on my own channel if I bring up certain things that they believe at that moment in time are things to be flagged. So let's go back to the news. Because as we go through the news, and as with the spring weather and the sunshine, I get more involved in reporting on what's going on, we need to learn to speak in code. Some of our speculation, some of the buzzwords, some of the ways we've been doing things for a number of years have to evolve in order for us to survive the YouTube purge and let our audiences know where we're going to be. To sign up for the newsletter, please sign up for the newsletter. Link down below in the description. And so we go now to the next article. We're going to talk about why China loves Trump from the Atlantic. But let's go over here. President Trump bemoaned a decision not to investigate Hillary Clinton after the 2016 presidential election, decrying a rigged system that still doesn't have the right people in place to fix it. Problem, reaction, solution. In the closed-door remarks, Trump also praised Xi for recently consolidating power and extending his potential tenure, musing that he wouldn't mind making such a maneuver himself. Trump said he's now president for life, president for life. No, he's great. And look, he was able to do that. I think it's great. Maybe we'll have to give that a shot someday. Somewhere over the rainbow, we won't be divided by politics. We will come together and rise from the ashes, arm in arm, regardless of where our parents and their ancestors are from, united as humans on the earth against this global tyranny that supersedes nation states. This is the new world order coming upon us. And if we're not already there yet, we will be there soon, where those buzzwords are flagged just like the others. And that is chilling. 77% of the mining machines, by the way, involved in Bitcoin, which require a lot of electricity, are, for some reason, located in China. And for some reason, this is not something that AMTV or others are concerned with. They're at the forefront in the alternative media with regards to promoting Bitcoin as a safeguard hedge against an economic collapse. How can we be so sure with these trade wars? Yes, tariffs on solar panels, tariffs on steel, steel stocks and other stocks, aluminum stocks plummeting at this time. What's going on? This is key information from The Atlantic. From the very beginning, the Communist Party seems to have understood that Trump's threats were, for the most part, merely for show. By refusing to be rattled, China has enjoyed a series of rhetorical and strategic triumphs that have enhanced its global image and increased its international influence. China also appears to have assessed that Trump, the self-proclaimed master deal maker, would rather have a bad deal than no deal at all, and could be persuaded to compromise on almost anything in order to declare a win. Take the $250 billion deal announced when Trump went to China back in November 2017. Many of the agreements were non-binding memorandums of understanding, and some had already been negotiated. And while they make a nice headline, they did nothing to address the fundamental problems that U.S. companies face in China. Requirements to share technological trade secrets with Chinese partners in exchange for access to Chinese markets. Restrictions on entering huge swaths of the economy, industrial policies that explicitly aim to oust foreign firms in fields ranging from information technology to electric vehicles. I want you to look up Huawei and realize that it's located in Plano, Texas, right outside of Dallas. That it has been reported to be involved in espionage against the Pentagon and the American people. There are many cell phones that people have that have been made by Huawei, this Chinese company. Rick Perry, in a ribbon cutting ceremony, so romantic, on YouTube. Okay, in that grand opening of Huawei. And yet we see Rick Perry, at least initially in the Trump campaign, making headlines for his association with the current standing president. We can look at Mitt Romney and could see that a company or a firm owned by Romney was involved in helping the Communist Chinese Party put up surveillance cameras all throughout their network. Mitt Romney has ties to the CCP. You can find that video on this channel. And then we look at Red Dawn. Check out that video on my YouTube channel. China pressured Hollywood to take China out of the plot and replace it with North Korea. You know what's creepy about that? Check out my video that's on this channel. You'll see a trailer. Hillary Clinton's running for 2020. What if it's just set up for Donald Trump to be a four-term president? They hand off to Hillary what he started as Trump received what Obama started. And what we're really seeing are fake feuds and continuous reverse psychology that the Trump administration is hated by the mainstream media. It's a show to create camps of political division within the United States. It's a show. CNN is not anti-war. CNN doesn't care about the people overseas. They report on things when it fits the political narrative. But to confuse CNN with being the Clinton News Network, then you would have to forget the propaganda from CNN after 9/11 when George W. Bush was the president, and they're showing footage of CNN reporters with Osama in 98. What were they doing in Afghanistan in 1998? CNN reporters. To provide the cannon fodder, to provide the propaganda and the film footage which would lay out the pretext for the invasion of Afghanistan immediately after 9/11 by October. CNN footage. And so, as people fall into this left-right divide, right? They're missing where the presidents and the mainstream media have the same agenda with regards to foreign policy. So this is a longer article, and it's impossible to get through all this information. But I have a dream. I have a dream that one day, the American people in my community, we will come together. There could be an event that forces us to come together and put aside our own biases, our own prejudices, our own resentments against each other. There may come a time in our nation's future where we will have to work to become better people. And to do that, we have to learn how to forgive those that we believe have trespassed and plotted against us. Okay, there has to be some sort of restoration of the people coming together beyond left or right. As people wake up, the solution isn't the Democrats. The solution isn't another Republican candidate. The solution is people being people, humans being humans. And understanding that there is a reason why China has been funding our wars for so long without ceasing and desisting from funding U.S. imperialism. They have been there the entire time. They are not an opposite. We built them up. We brought them IBM. We brought them their technology so they can develop their missiles. And then it switches around. We're borrowing money from China for these wars that apparently the U.S. military isn't winning. Because the other side, and I won't mention its name, that starts with an I, continues to spread violence throughout the Middle East. Why? Why has no one stopped them? Why are they a worldwide mafia-like group to be contended with? Hogwash. Twitter? Twitter's run by our own government. They're citing Twitter? Why aren't those accounts shut down? So, the American people have been stricken with PTSD, whether they've been in the war or they've been in the States watching CNN, Fox News, MSNBC war footage. And so it was the perfect time for them to launch their meme of the outsiders coming in to take and harm you, to exaggerate particular things. And so understanding human psychology and the 14 years I've been involved in the alternative media, when someone is bombarded with fear after fear after fear, whether it be from one thing or another, a lot of people just want to shut down and will be angry at that person. I received some angry comments today, sharing some information in a Facebook group. We don't need your fear here. Get out. I said, no problem. Didn't leave an insult. I just left the group entirely. We are now a nation now where our own people will attack us for trying to share information with them that relates to national sovereignty. If that isn't an existence in a fallen world, then I don't know what is. I hope there's time left, because we're going to need it. Until next time, I'm Alex Ansary, reminding you the path to the ultimate truth and place of power still lies within.